What's good, y'all? L Famous, living my life, not thinking about it twice. Don't be scared to like, subscribe, or share this dope content if you like it. You heard? Let's get it. Let's get it, man. Let's get it. Now this joint, I'm gonna take y'all back to 1994. You heard? Rikers Island, 6 Upper. You heard? It was me, Mick Mac, Duke Mafia, CH, and Queenz, you heard? And we had a mean little squad up there, and we was controlling the 6 Upper on the south side, you heard? We was controlling 6 Upper on the south side. Now, when we was in 6 Upper on the south side, 1994, you know, we was bidding, but we all knew we was going home, you know what I'm saying? Because we all had 6 building time, you know what I'm saying? And most of us was going home in recent months, you know what I'm saying? In a couple of months. We wasn't, you know, a lot of us, you know what I'm saying, was on a, you know, because a lot of the adolescents that was in there was in a 6 building, and they messed up in the 6 building, and they had to get sent to high classification over in the 4 building, 6 Upper, you heard? And I wasn't one of them dudes. I didn't go to the 6. I went to the 6 building. They gave me my jumper, but then they came back before they was taking me to a house. They came back and said, "Nah, give me your stuff. You going to the 4 building, high classification. You heard? 6 Upper. You know what I'm saying? So boom. All right, brother. So that's what happened with me. That's how I got to 6 Upper. I wasn't in the 6 building. I didn't have to mess up in the 6 building to come over to 6 Upper. My classification was already high from when I was in jail in 1991 and 1992. Once you was in Mar 9, anytime you get locked up, your classification was high. So once I was in Mar 9, I told you, first time I was in jail, I was in Mar 9. So every time I got locked up after that, when I went to the island, they threw me a high classification. You heard? High classification. I go straight to high classification. So I didn't go to 6 building. I went to the 6 building. They took my jumpsuit back, gave me my clothes back, and said I was going to 6 Upper 4 building. You heard? Boom. So then I went to 6 building, 4 building. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm in 6 Upper. It's me, Duke Mafia, Mick Mac, CH, Queenz, you heard, and we holding it down on some, you know what I'm saying, on some jail and shit, you heard, doing what we do. So boom, all of a sudden, all right, we go to the Bing. Somebody come through, we pounce on them, you heard. Matter of fact, we got into a Royal Rumble with the other side. I told you we got into the Royal Rumble with the Latin Kings on the other side. Boom. But another dude came in. I can't remember the story like that. Was sent us to the Bing. I just know a dude came in on some rough and tough shit, and we popped off on him in the day room. And the CO, it was a non-steady on, so it was a non-steady. She rolled us up. If it was a steady, they would have never rolled us up. But it was a non-steady on, so they rolled us up. She rolled us up. I never forget, it was a chick. She rolled us up, gave us all a ticket for jumping a dude. You know what I'm saying? Normally, that was nothing on the island, jumping a dude. So, you know what I'm saying? If the right police was there, that would have never happened. But with a non-steady, anything goes. You know what I'm saying? Non-steadies be shaky. So non-steady, she rolled us all up. So it took a couple of days, but we all was going to the Bing. And we all went to the Bing. We all went to 1 Main. And when I went to 1 Main, I was in 1 Main on the north side, and you had half and 1 lower. He had the Bing on lock. He had 1 lower on lock. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody was cutting more dudes at that time than half. You heard? And then you had Light and Reese on the other side of 1 Main with a whole bunch of other dudes. You know what I'm saying? Because I was only in 1 Main for like 4 days before they got me out of there and sent me to HDM. So, but when I was there for 4 days, on my 2nd day there, my son Ja Rage, salute Ja Rage, my dude, you know what I'm saying? That's my bro from the street, you know what I'm saying? He came to the Main, popped up at my cell, gave me 3 boxes of cookies, gave me some Kool-Aid and some Tang patches, you heard? Pouches, you heard? You know what I'm saying? And That was crazy love. That was crazy official. My man Rage, salute. You popped up on me in a Bing. You heard? And the police let you bring me. That's how much pull my man Rage had on the island. Police let him come in the Bing, bring me cookies and juices. You heard? Not juices. The pouches that you can make Kool-Aid with, Kool-Aid pouches and Tang pouches. You heard? Where I can make, because with water in my cup and Kool-Aid, I was good in the Bing. That's a specialty. You heard? That's a specialty. You live in love if you got somebody, you got somebody bringing you commissary, and the CO is letting them bring it because you official. You heard? You know what I'm saying? So salute to my bro Rage. You heard? My childhood friend from out in the world. You heard? I heard he was repping on that island. You know what I'm saying? Heard he was repping on that island. You know what I'm saying? When I was there, he was working in the law library at this time. In 1994, my man was working in the law library. He was running around that joint like he owned the joint. You heard? You know what I'm saying? My man was strong. You heard? He was bringing me milks, cookies, and juices and all that to the motherfucking Bing, B. Dudes know. To the Bing, you heard? You know what I'm saying? And he was doing that for lighting them too on the other side. And he was doing that for half of them too. That's how official he was, you heard? You know what I'm saying? He heard I was in the Bing, you know what I'm saying? Because he used to come check on me when I was in 6 Upper, you know what I'm saying? And he heard I went to the Bing. Second day in the Bing, he came down there and bought me high drops, chipolatimas, and them lemon drops. You heard? Them lemon drop cookies. You know what I'm saying? And he bought me tropical punch Kool-Aid and some Tang. Couple of packets of that. You heard? I was dumb happy. You know what I'm saying? Dumb happy. You know what I'm saying? So salute to my bro. You know what I'm saying? That's, you know what I'm saying? And that's who. And then I went to the HDM. I told y'all the story about Have. Go check my platform. The Have story. You heard? You know what I'm saying? And when he tried to cut me over my Eddie Bauer watch, you know what I'm saying? Or he wanted to cut me over my Eddie Bauer watch. He ain't try. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so now I come out the box, you know what I'm saying? So now I'm back in 6 Upper, you heard? Come out the Bing, I'm back in 6 Upper. So now when I'm in 6 Upper, now a lot of the people, CH went home, Mick went home. No, Mick is still there. Duke Mafia went home. CH went home. Certain dudes went home. So now it's a whole different dudes up there. So when I come up there, come back to 6 Upper, they give me my props. They roll out the carpet because they heard about me. I just left. I just had the house with the whole me, Duke Mafia, Queenz, all of us. We had the house. So they knew I just had the house. So when I came back, they rolled out the red carpet and whatever. Boom, boom. So everything is good. So my man Queenz is having everything locked down, really. So that's my son. Before we left, me and Queenz was mad cool. Then Queenz went to the Bing before me and Duke and us, and then he came out the Bing before me. You know what I'm saying? So he came back. He was in 6 Upper before I came out the Bing. So he had the house. He had the phones or whatever on that side. You heard? So, boom. Actually, it was only one phone. It was one phone on 6 Upper. They only had one phone for each side. You heard? You know what I'm saying? So, boom. I came back. Niggas rolled out the red carpet. Everything was good. So then next thing you know, this dude named Buckwild come. You know what I'm saying? From Brooklyn. You heard? Buckwild. My son Buckwild. You know what I'm saying? I think he was from Bushwick. You heard? I think he was from Bushwick. Don't quote me wrong. But everybody that was on the island back in 92, 93, 94, know Buckwild. You heard? He had a brother. You know what I'm saying? I think he had a twin brother, Buckwild. You heard? From out of Brooklyn. That was repping. You heard? That was my son. He had beat his cases, and he had some 6 building time. So they sent him up to 6 Upper. But he came from 2 Upper. You know what I'm saying? The chop shop. That was his house, right? 2 Upper was his house at the time. You know what I'm saying? So boom. He came over. Now, when Buck came, he was showing us how to really bid in them sale houses. You heard? Boom. I thought I was doing something, having my little 10 boxes of cereal, my 4 or 5 boxes of cookies and a couple of Tangs and all that. Well, Buck came with a store. You heard? Buck came with about 100 boxes of cookies. You heard? Everything. He had everything. He had everything. You heard? We used to have all his boxes hooked up, stacked up on the floor. He used to have all his tangs, all his cakes, his tasty cakes or whatever them cakes that they used to sell in commissary, all them cakes. He used to have everything that they used to have in commissary. He had laid out in his cell in a variety. So when he first came and set up his cell, and I was kicking it with him, and me and him hit it off real instantly, because as soon as he came over, Ja Ray's told him his boy L is over there. You heard? See how it go? So when he came over, he already knew. He already was checking for me. You know what I'm saying? Yo, your man Ja Ray, that's my comrade. He told me that you over here. You heard? And he put his cell right in front of me. So my cell was right here. His cell was right across from me. We used to stay up all night talking and shit. Me, him, and Queenz. You heard? We came to the three amigos. You heard? My man Buck, salute. I hope you are still out there. Brooklyn. You heard? Official. You know what I'm saying? Had everything. Taught me a lot. He taught me how to bid in them cell houses. So soon after, I still had like a month left. So boom, soon after he came, word to my mother, all it took me was like a week or two. I ain't have as much shit as he had, but my floor looked at, like, I had a quarter of what he had on my, when you looked at my cell, you seen a quarter of what he had. You seen 150 boxes of cereal, different kind, Rice Krispies, the good joints, you know what I'm saying? Rice Krispies, this and that, and that, you know what I'm saying? Boom. Then I had mad cookies, mad cakes, mad all this and that, boom. So basically, you know, you learn from other niggas that as you go along, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Some niggas become doges, some niggas become lame, some niggas become and all that. Nah, some niggas learn, some niggas watch niggas, and some niggas will be having the alley hoop from niggas. Like I told you, my man Ja Ray's already told Buck, yo, when you get over there, my son Ella's over there. You heard? Boom, boom. And him and Buckwild was like this. You know what I'm saying? They lived around each other in the same house for months. You know what I'm saying? And I heard they put in work together. So it is what it is. So I had the official stamp. But Buckwild was different. Buckwild, he showed us how you really supposed to be bidding in them cell houses. That dude never liked to stay in his cell. So every time a CO they change shifts, that nigga be kicking on his cell. Boom, boom, boom. I don't care what CO was up there. I don't care what CO came. He be kicking on the cell. Boom, 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 boom. So CO come down like, who the fuck kicking on that door? Who the hell kicking on that door? Sorry for cursing. Who the hell kicking on that door? You heard? And they look through the little thing. He be on the gate. 9 times out of 10, he know the CO. He be like, yo, man, it's me, man. It's me, Buck. You heard? Buckwild. They be like, oh, shoot. They tell the other CO, all right, crack your cell, open them up. You heard? Then they'll go back to the bubble. You heard? Word to my mother, they used to let them out. Every CO used to let them out. I remember the steady CO, Miss Wilcox, I told you the chick that used to be sitting on black dudes. When he first came, he was kicking on the door for her to open up the cell. He didn't care who she had as porter. As soon as he got there, he started kicking on the door for her to open up the cell. And I remember that she was like, she called the captain, the sergeant, and everything, and she tried to get him in trouble. And he cursed her out. He was like, chick, you don't know who I am. He used the derogatory words, but he said, you don't know who I am, B. He was kicking on the door. She came down. She was like, you kicking on my door? Who you think you is? He was like, get out of here, dissing her and all that. And then she went out. She called the sergeant, the captain, and all that, because she didn't know about this dude. You know what I'm saying? He came from population. You know what I'm saying? This ain't no regular six building dude. You know what I'm saying? So boom. So you see the captain come down to Buck cell, say, hey man, stop, don't be causing no trouble, man. He like, yo, Cap, you already know what it is, B. I'll turn it up in here, B. You know what it is, B. Niggas better let me out, B. I don't like being in these cells. You know that, B. You heard? That's word of my mother. They used to keep him. He's the only time he used to really be in his cell is for counts and for when we go to sleep. You heard? Now, I'm telling you, Buckwild was official. He came to 6 upper on that. Like, he came to 6 upper like Just how I was living in 2 Upper, I'm going to be living in here. You heard? I don't care if it's different COs or different... Yo, he came up there. He was kicking on the door. That was the first... And every CO that came on after that, while I was there with him, he used to do the same thing. You heard? Until they recognized, to the point where he didn't have to kick no more. He'll just scream down, yo, open up my cell. Or it was times where after they realized who he was, I swear to God, as soon as they come on, they do their count, and then they go in the bubble, and all you hear is clank, his cell open. And then he was so strong, he'd get me open. He'd be like, open up such and such cell. Open up such and such cell. Me and Queenz be out before everybody, you heard? You know what I'm saying? That's how them cell houses be running. They run different, but you know what I'm saying? We wasn't Buckwild and us, we wasn't telling dudes lock in and all that and herb destroying it. Like I told you, the only herb destroying I participated into was the cards, but I wasn't into that other shit, you know, cutting niggas for nothing and beating on niggas for nothing and all that. I wasn't into that, you know what I'm saying? But we ran our house official. So then one day, this dude named Dominica came up there. He was a Dominican dude. He ran with the, you know, he fucked with the blacks. So boom. But Dominica was mad grimy, man. Like, he was just too grimy for himself. He was real, but he was just grimy. So one day, I remember Buck wasn't there. It was me, Queenz, we all locked in. Everybody was locked in. And the porter came, and Dominica, we let Dominica into the family, and then Dominica was harassing the feed up dude. You heard? You know, the feed up, I wasn't feeding up at this time. Like I said, I was feeding up when I first was in 6 Up. When I got it on with Duke Mafia with them Latin King dudes. You know what I'm saying? That was when I first was in 6 Upper. Then when I went to the Bing and came out, I wasn't feed up or nothing. They had some other dudes doing. She had some other dudes doing feed up. So boom. Plus, them same Latin King dudes was still on the same side. Tone and them was still on the other side. Tone and them was scared to death of the nigga Buckwild. Yo, Tone and them niggas was funny niggas, man. Yo, nigga Tone was a funny nigga, B. You heard? Tone, I wound up seeing Tone in the street, Tone official too. You know what I'm saying? But that was some adolescent shit we had got it on, you heard? But Latin King Tone, I wound up seeing him in the street. He was official. He was from Brooklyn, but he used to be in the Bronx and everywhere. Latin King Tone, you heard? You know what I'm saying? He was official Latin King. He used to take that shit to heart. You know what I'm saying? So I salute to you too. Even though I told the story where we used to whip your ass, you heard? But yeah, you was on the other side still, and you was giving us, you wasn't even thinking about fronting on us when Buckwild was over there with us, because Buckwild was from a different breed of the Allen, you heard? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I remember Buck was somewhere, and then I remember the feed up dude gave Dominica was locked up front and we locked in the back. So Dominica dude, he had a deep voice and he was a gangster. Dominica, you heard? His name was Dominica. You heard? We used to call him, we named him Dominica. And he was a Dominican dude that was fucking with the black niggas, you heard? And but he was a wild nigga, you know what I'm saying? He was a wild dude, you know what I'm saying? He was a wild dude. Like, when I say wild dude is, he was official. Me and him was mad cool until this happened, but it was like, he'll overstep his boundaries. Not with me, not with certain people, but he would step, not with Buckwild, and not with Queenz on certain circumstances, but he tried Queenz. He was trying Queenz, you heard? You know what I'm saying? So boom, the feed up dude gave Dominica like 15 boxes of a certain cereal, you heard? And it cut into Queenz boxes, you heard? It had cut into Queenz boxes, you heard? And because Buckwild used to get a certain amount, Buckwild said that he wanted 20 boxes under his cell every day, every morning for breakfast, that they serve cereal, the right cereal. He wanted 20 boxes. I ain't lying. I had 10 boxes, you heard? Me and Queenz had 10 boxes. And Dominica. But Dominica cut into Queenz boxes and somehow cutting the Queenz boxes because somebody else was getting some boxes too. You know what I'm saying? So Buck had his 20, I had my 10, and somehow Queenz only had about 7, and Dominica had some of his boxes. So I remember hearing Queenz get on the gate because we was all locked in, and Queenz saying, yo, Dominica, send my boxes, B, send my boxes. So Dominica was like, yo, I don't got your boxes, I got my boxes. So the feed up wouldn't play games because the feed up was a punk. So the feed up already told Queenz who Dominica took his boxes. So I remember hearing Queenz in his voice, yo, Dominica, yo, send my boxes, Dominica. I'm telling you, Dominica, stop playing with me, send my boxes, B. So Dominica like, yo, I don't got your boxes, B. I don't got your boxes. I said, all right, Dominica. Later on that day, Queenz ran down to Dominica's cell, ran up in Dominica's cell. I don't know what Dominica was thinking. I don't know why Dominica wasn't on point or why Dominica didn't know that Queenz was going. I don't think Dominica thought that Queenz was going to blow him because Queenz was about to go home. Queenz came out of nowhere and blew that nigga, B. Word to my mother, you heard? Blew that nigga with a railroad track, you heard? Now, anybody that know what a railroad track is a cut, a keloid cut, a cut that's going to turn keloid. And not only does it when it's going to turn keloid, but when it first happens, it was like this, all the way up back, and he cut him on his stomach or some shit. So he gave him a railroad track, you heard? And when I say railroad track, when they stitched him up, when they brought Dominica back, because they brought him back and they put him on the other side. Yo, that nigga looked crazy, you heard? When I say crazy, I'm talking about crazy. And I remember when I didn't see it, but I heard it. Because I was on the gate and I was trying to look, but it was too far down. But I seen, because I told you, me and Queenz was locked, his cell was right next to mine, so I seen when Queenz went down there. Queenz went down there and blew flames out of Dominica, you heard? For playing with him, you heard? For trying to take his boxes and trying to get more bigger than his bridges, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He told Dominica before he did it, he said, yo, why you play? Don't play with me, B, don't play with me, you heard? And the nigga was playing with him, you heard? Nigga went down there and blew Dominica. And I remember, I think I heard after that, Dominica turned into a beast, you heard? Dominica turned into a beast, you heard? Dominica turned into a beast. So salute.